Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today we're going to get into my August wrap up. It is officially September, so it is officially fall to me. I've got my ghosties on. I've got my little hatchet earrings, which if you know the lore behind these, then you know. All that to say, I'm so excited to wrap up the final bit of my summer reading and let you guys know all about the 15 books that I read in the month of August. I had a really great reading month. I feel like I've had a lot of really great reading months back to back to back. I think I've been really consistent with my goals for my reading year this year, which was to stay true to my little mood reading self. I do still set TBRs every single month, but more of like a smaller pool of books to choose from, so I'm not getting overwhelmed with my huge shelves, which I am trying to work my way through as I usually do from the very beginning of my channel. And in doing that and honoring what I want to read without pressuring myself to do anything else, I find that I've been enjoying my books that I've been picking up so much more in 2025. So I'm really happy about that, and it means that I get so many more good recommendations to share with you guys. These are not going to be the typical books that you're probably seeing floating around BookTube, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but that's what I'm reading and liking. So let's go ahead and get into it. Oh my god, right in the middle of me filming this intro, I just got the best package in my door. This literally just got delivered, so I haven't opened it yet, and I'm very excited. I also want to thank today's sponsor, which is Book of the Month. Y'all know I love these little blue boxes getting delivered to my door. They're my favorite thing ever. If you are not familiar with Book of the Month, they provide 5 to 7 book picks every single month for you to choose from, and you get literally the best price on a brand new hardcover book. I've been a Book of the Month subscriber since 2020, so 5 years now. I do pay for Book of the Month, even though I'm very grateful for them sponsoring me. Let's go ahead and get into my picks for this month. Like I said, there's 5 to 7 picks, usually a variety of genres, so there's something for everybody. But this month, I'm literally shaking. This is the first time I've held a finished copy of my favorite book of the year. I read an arc for this book, and I was so freaking happy that it got picked up for a Book of the Month pick, and I'm so happy for Miss Rachel Harrison because her new book, Play Nice, is a Book of the Month pick for September 2025. I could not be more thrilled. This is my best horror book of the year. Obviously, I read an arc of it a few months ago. Rachel Harrison is my favorite author. If you want a copy of Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, this is your time to get it. This is the most affordable this book is going to be, and it comes to your door in a cute little box. It's a girly pop horror book that actually has some pretty deep themes to it. It's a haunted house story. It's amazing, 5 stars. And then I also got another one of the picks. This is Discontent by Beatrice Serrano, and this just sounded so intriguing to me. It's also a beautiful book. It's a literary fiction book that breaks down the life behind the image that we show online, and I'm so interested to get into it. These are just 2 of the amazing picks that Book of the Month has for September, and they have these cutie little hats. This is corduroy, and it's embroidered. Like, this is so freaking cute. If you want either of these books that I got or one of their other picks, you can get your September Book of the Month for just $5 and get a free corduroy embroidered hat with the code JACKET. Highly recommend you guys click the link down below, check out Book of the Month. They're really willing to work with you. Like, if you don't like a pick, you can skip any month, no big deal. And they also have like a reader's guarantee, which I didn't know about this. If you get a Book of the Month and you don't like it, let them know and they will replace it for free in your next box. I think that is so cool. They literally just want to show you new books and for you to enjoy them. Like, what could be better? Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring, and don't forget to go down below, check them out, use code JACKET to get your first pick for $5, and I hope it's Play Nice. Before I get into the actual reviews, let's go over my August stats. As I said, I read 15 books this month for a total of 4,788 pages, and here is my mood breakdown. We have a pretty even split of dark, mysterious, tense, and emotional emotional reads in August. I read 10 medium-paced books and 5 fast-paced books. 9 of the books that I read were in between that 300 and 500 page range, which is kind of my sweet spot, but I did read 6 books that were under 300 pages. All of the books that I read this month were fiction, and of course, mystery thrillers were leading the pack, followed by literary fiction, contemporary, and horror. Across my 15 reviews, I had an average rating of 4.02 stars, which is so good. Anytime I'm between like 3.8 and 4, I'm happy. So over a 4 is like, that just tells you how amazing August was for my reading. I did have 1 2-star, 1 2.5 star, and 1 3-star. I also had a 3.75 star. We'll get into it. I'm being really picky with that one. And of course, I had 5 4-star reads, 2 4.5 star reads, and 4 5-star reads. Here's how I read those pages throughout the month of August. It was like pretty steady all the way through the month. I was pretty consistent in my reading. I always felt like I wanted to be picking up my book. There was a little lapse of like a weekend that I got addicted to a new Switch game, which ironically enough is about recommending books. Like, as if I don't already get enough of that making these videos, I want to do that in my extra free time as well. But if you like cozy gaming, highly recommend Tiny Bookshop. It did take me away from my reading for a little bit though. So now let's go ahead and get into the reviews of every single book that I read in August. As always, we will start out with my least favorite book and we will work our way up to my most favorite book of the month. Starting out with the 1 2-star book that I read in August, which was Little Paranoias by Sonora Taylor. This is a short story collection. They are mostly horror stories, but it's not super intense horror. And the thing that made me want to pick up this book was the blurb on the back that said there are 20 tales in here of little things that drive our deepest fears. Dark little corners of everyday little paranoias. So that's what I expected going into the book. And the first story was very much as it was billed. It was like a woman walking home alone at night, and that's a little everyday paranoia that we face, but it's also just a reality of life. We have to walk home in the dark sometimes. But from there, the theme of the collection really wasn't a thing at all. I was very surprised. We would have like 10-page stories or less that were trying to explore an apocalypse or like an apocalyptic event or like a post-tragedy world. Like, that doesn't feel like an everyday paranoia, so it's definitely not what I was prepared for going into the collection. That's like a huge thing, and in my opinion, that kind of story does not work well with a short story format. I don't think you can build out an apocalyptic event enough in 9 pages to get me to fully understand the vision or care about the consequences. There were also quite a few little stories in here that were just 1 or 2 pages or like just a page of poetry, and it read as like really trite and shallow. I didn't get horror from it. So overall, the writing in here just wasn't my favorite, although I will say there were a couple stories that do stand out. There was one in particular about like skeletons that live on and like how the world is dealing with skeletons that live on after death and like the ghost of your loved one just hanging around as their bones. I thought that was really inventive and really cool. I also enjoyed my reading experience because me and my boyfriend turned this little short story collection into our little ritual every night. We would go back and forth reading stories to each other, and even if we didn't like the story, we had so much fun just connecting and reading together. It makes me so happy that I get to share this with my partner. So it's a wonderful connecting experience for us, but unfortunately I don't necessarily recommend the collection because I did give it 2 stars. And if you watched my new release thriller vlog that went up in August, then you will already know the 2.5 star that I read in August, which was Small Game by Blair Braverman. And I rated this one right down the middle because that's what it was for me. It kind of gave nothing. It was not bad. It wasn't over the top great. It was just a thriller that is. However, I think if you're looking for something specific, you could definitely enjoy this one. The setup of this thriller is that it's a reality TV show about surviving in the wilderness. And 5 contestants go on. Whoever survives wins all of this money. According to the blurb, there's some event that happens, and then the whole show is turned on its head, and they're not just surviving for TV, they're trying to fight for their lives. That event, I felt, didn't happen until way too late into the story, and we never got clarity around what actually happened. As far as the reality show elements, I really did enjoy that, especially like the behind the scenes questions of like, are the production crew slipping them granola bars so they're like fresh and awake for TV and not literally dying on the ground? Are they like having relations between the contestants and the camera crew? What are the like behind the scenes elements? I thought that was really fun, and I love a reality TV show thriller. I actually did a whole video on if you like this reality show, you should read this thriller. If you missed that video, I will link it up above and down below. And if you like shows like Survivor or Extracted, I think you could definitely get into this one. But ultimately, the plot just kind of fell flat. It got a really late start, and I didn't feel like I got enough closure and clarity in the story. Next up, let's talk about my 3-star read. And this book is not bad by any means. I actually think the writing is pretty incredible. However, I'm pretty disappointed because I kind of thought this was gonna be a 5-star or at least a 4-star for me, and I just didn't connect with it as much as I wanted to. Everyone has been recommending this to me and telling me that I'm gonna love it, and so I'm just like kind of really disappointed that I didn't. And that is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This book is pitched as a story of 40 women who have been kept underground their entire lives, and they've never known society. They've never known men for the last 40 years. They've just been trapped, and they are released. They can reintegrate back into the world, and we're supposed to see based on that like how they live, how their ideas of society, women, men, whatever, are different because of their captivity and being shrouded from social norms in our culture. I was really interested in like biting feminist commentary and a look at how women are socialized. I was not expecting the way that this book decided to go, and I also really did not connect with our main character nor the writing style of this book. As I mentioned, I do think it's written really well, but the writing style is very, very specific, and if you don't resonate with it, I don't think there's any hope in you enjoying it, because I found it so bland. And the foreword kind of discusses what you're going to get into regarding the writing style. It's specifically devoid of emotion because our main character had to dissociate and basically turn off her emotions to survive. But because of that, I didn't get any of the emotional connection or evocative feeling from the commentary that I was looking for. It just read really flat and dry. It's really plotless, but we also don't feel connected to our main character. So I wasn't sure the entirety that I was reading this book what was keeping me reading or drawn to the story. There was nothing driving it forward. Our main character did very monotonous things like counting the miles that she was walking, or reading small passages of books, or looking at the contents of a bag or a pantry. And I knew that I was supposed to be getting something from the blandness. Like I said, it talks about it in the foreword that that's very intentional, but I think that that purpose is served within the first chapter. And I would have loved to see some further development, or like see that emotional wall crack for our character to get to a deeper level of feeling, connection, and commentary in the book. I didn't get any of that, and that's what I was really looking for. So although some of these passages like stunned me, stopped me in my tracks, and I had to highlight it, I didn't get enough out of the story as a whole to over the top recommend it. I think this can definitely work for people. I think it's well written. I think it has merit to it. It's just not an all-time fave for me. Next up, we get into another book that is also slightly disappointing, although I really enjoyed it. This was another one, a thriller, that I suspected could be a 5-star read for me, and the first half I was so sold. Like, I literally thought I was gonna give it 5 stars. However, the tide turned. So let's get into my very, very picky 3.75 star read from August, which was my Pretty Girl Book Club pick for this month, Still Missing by Chevy Stevens. This one I've been highly anticipating, especially since I did my Chevy Stevens taste test. Oh my god, that video was so much fun. I'm obsessed with Chevy Stevens. I love her. I want to read her entire backlist. She writes some dark, disturbing psychological stories. If you missed my taste test video, I absolutely loved the 2 books that I read in that. I'll link it up above and down below. It's a really fun vlog. But like I said, this was my book club pick, so I also read this from Chevy Stevens this month. Still Missing follows a woman who was kidnapped and held hostage, and now she has gotten away from that situation, and she's recounting everything that happened to her therapist. And she's experiencing typical PTSD symptoms, fear, paranoia, nightmares, feeling unsafe, and being hypervigilant. However, we are not sure if this is all PTSD or if maybe she has a reason to be feeling this paranoia because there's still someone out to get her and finish the job of her kidnapper. It's so, so dark. I love a dark, twisted kidnapping thriller, and this is exactly that. The beginning reminded me of the best parts of The Final Scene by Steph Nelson, which I absolutely love. Living Dead Girl by Elizabeth something that I really love. I don't remember the author's last name right now, and I cannot find it on my bookshelf. It also reminded me a little bit of Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, which is one of my favorite books ever, and it had a little tinge of Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. So I know what you're thinking, like, why didn't you rate this higher? What is up with the 3.75 if you're comparing it to all these things that you love? Well, I felt that way in the first half as we were hearing this kidnapping story recounted to the therapist, but around the 50% mark, that structure got so dull. I was waiting for a part 2, a change in perspective, something else where I was being shown a story happening rather than told. I think the choice to have our main character recounting all of this in present day, speaking about it in the past, was not the best one because I just got bored. The pacing fell flat. Even though these insanely dark and disturbing things were happening, the pacing and the feeling of the book wasn't feeling like that because of the way I was being told, not shown. At that point, like, I was ready to settle on a 4-star because that's kind of like one thing. That is the one element of the book that didn't hit for me, and I'm still enjoying, like, the thriller plot. I do think it's a really effective thriller plot. I love Chevy Stevens' writing, so I was gonna land on a 4-star. Then the ending twist hit, and it was so trite, ridiculous, that it kind of undermined the depth of the psychologically disturbing and, like I keep saying, like, totally dark story that came before it. It just felt a little clunky and out of place to me. So I felt like I couldn't give it a 4-star, but this book is so much better than 3.5-star books that I've read. So I was really nitpicky and I just landed on a 3.75. I really wanted to like this more, but the told not shown and the ending twist just kept me from feeling the feelings that I really desperately wanted to feel towards this book. However, I have more Chevy Stevens books to talk about later in this wrap up, so you know I liked more from her, and my live show for the book club is literally tomorrow, and I'm low-key terrified to talk about it because I think I'm gonna have the most unpopular opinion. It seems like everyone really, really loves that book, and I really wanted to too. Unfortunately, it just didn't work in the way that I wanted it to. Next up, let's get into my 4-star reads, starting off with Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is not my typical, okay? This is a sci-fi pick. I joined an in-person book club with some of my friends here in Austin, Austin, and they picked Project Hail Mary. I really wanted to participate. I'm the like reader friend, so I felt like if I didn't participate, people would be like, well, what the fuck, Hailey? And honestly, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I can't wait for the adaptation. If you don't know what this story is about, it's about this man who wakes up in space with basically no memory of who he is, why he's there, or what his mission is. He knows that he's not an astronaut, but he knows that he's been tasked to do something in space to hopefully save the world, and we follow him as he goes about doing that, and he's discovering little alien creatures, and he is finding out more about his mission and himself along the way. It's a really heartwarming story. However, I did get bogged down a little bit by the science. I'm just not a typical science fiction reader, so that was a little bit hard for me. However, I do think I liked it more than I thought I would. I actually vlogged my experience reading this one on Patreon, and I thought it was so much fun. So who knows, maybe I will get into more sci-fi in the future. And I'm very grateful to my in-person book club for challenging me and helping me branch out a little bit. It's also two of my best friends' favorite books of all time, so they were extremely happy that I finally gave their fave a try. Next up, I have a horror novella for you, and that is Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. Just in time for spooky season. This one was so much fun. We're following 6 people who always cross paths in this cemetery every night. Some because they work late, they work the night shift, some because they just do various things around the town, and they end up all taking their smoke break in the graveyard. And one day they see something weird in the graveyard, and it's kind of like this adult Scooby-Doo-esque plot where this unlikely group gets together to try to solve a mystery of what's going on in the graveyard. It's so spooky, it's so gothic feeling, it is so much fun. I just had a blast with this book. It's easy to read in an afternoon if you want to get into some spooky reading vibes for fall. It has that perfect fall atmosphere. It's kind of gross, like the horror is light, but it's involving like rats and bugs and things like that, so nothing too bloody and gory, but still horror-esque. And it has an amazing playlist for this book in the back, and of course if you include an Arctic Monkeys song on your book playlist, you know I'm gonna love it. So this was a super solid 4-star read. Can't wait to recommend it for spooky season. Next up, we have This Is Not a Game by Kelly Mullen, and this is another one that I would highly recommend for the upcoming fall and winter seasons because it is basically a perfect modernized murder mystery. If you like a locked door whodunit, an Agatha Christie inspired Clue retelling, you are going to love This Is Not a Game. We are following all these high society people on this island, and they're all invited to the manor of this millionaire, and they go to the manor for this cocktail party, but most of them are under duress. Most of them are being blackmailed by their host, but nobody else knows that all the other people in the room are in the same situation. We are following the grandma of a girl, and she's the one being blackmailed, and then her granddaughter, who she brings along with her, is recently out of a long-term relationship, and she was betrayed by this man that she was with, co-created a video game with her, but now is trying to take all the credit for this murder mystery video game. He's taken all the profits, all the intellectual property, everything. So she is the mastermind behind this game, and she's dealing with obviously her betrayal and her relationship with her grandmother who's being blackmailed. She doesn't know about that, and as people start to drop dead around this mansion, she kind of draws upon her horror video game skills to solve the mystery and find the killer. It's so much fun. It's, like I said, the perfect modernized version of something like Clue. It's funny, it's light, it's mysterious, and it's just a good time. The atmosphere in this book was perfect. It was just cozy and wonderful, and a solid 4-star read. Next up, let's talk about The Villa by Ruth Kelly. This one is on Kindle Unlimited, and if you are looking for some late summer scandalous romancy thriller vibes, this is for you. If you like Love Island, read this thriller tomorrow. I swear it will get your fix. It will get all your withdrawals from Love Island snapped right just like that. We are following basically a production of Love Island, okay? It is a reality show where there's 10 girls, 10 boys. They all have to couple up and share a bed at the end of the night. If you're alone, then you get booted. But production is halted halfway through the season when one of the contestants ends up dead. We are following along the show to see who could have been the person to commit this heinous act. Who snapped? Was it a man who didn't get what he deserved, quote unquote? Was it a girl who was jealous of somebody else? Or was it a jilted member of the crew? It's so mysterious, and I did not guess the killer the entire way through. It was a fun, light, quick, and easy read, and I was surprised at how shocking and twisty it was. I was also surprised at how scandalous these challenges were. Like, they were so entertaining. It was just the level of scandal and drama on Love Island. If you want a thriller that reads like a reality show, this is probably my top recommendation for that. It's so solid. And the last 4-star book that I have to talk about from August is Before We Were Innocent by Ella Berman. This was, again, another perfect summer thriller if you are looking for a scandalous, toxically enmeshed female friendship, beachy travel thriller. This is for you. We are following 3 girls who went on a trip to Greece together, their senior year of high school, and something happened on this trip. Something tragic happened. 3 went on the trip and only 2 came back. And they know something about what happened to their 3rd friend, but they haven't given it up for years and years and years. When another woman goes missing in present day, they are forced to revisit what happened all those years ago, and we have to figure out what exactly happened in the past and what is happening now. Like I said, it's like toxic female friendship 101. There's a lot of like dramatic, emotional, teenage yearning type of scenes in here. There's LGBTQ rep, which I really appreciated. There's talk about class and race and how that plays into female friendship. And at its heart, it's a murder mystery, so that side plot is fun as well. Has great summer vibes. They're traveling to Greece, and I actually read this book while I was in Mykonos, and it was the perfect vibes, perfect atmosphere. Absolutely loved it. So highly recommend. Now we can get into my 4.5-star reads, starting out with Strike and Burn by Taylor Hutton. And I'm laughing because this book is just ridiculous. This book is so ridiculous. This is basically a thriller, dark romance, stalker, serial killer combo. If you like Sophie Lark, or if you like Butcher and Blackbird, this is one for y'all. This is so cheesy, kitschy, tropey, over the top, ridiculous dark romance. But if you can get into that, it's such a fun time. Like, I purely rated this a 4.5 because of how much freaking fun I had reading it. This is not a masterpiece, okay? This is not a favorite of all time. That's why I didn't give it 5 stars. But I just was laughing and sighing and swooning, just thinking it's so ridiculous the whole time I was reading. Like, it was just so much fun. I couldn't give it a bad rating. In this book, we're following a woman whose sister was recently murdered. She thinks that she knows who did it, and he isn't in jail yet, so he is kind of after her, trying to silence her. In the meantime, she meets this enigmatic gaming billionaire who makes erotic video games, and he sees one look at our main character's art style and he's like, I need you to work at my erotic video game company. And so they work together, but they're also doing more, and they're flirting and they're smut, and it's all of that. And she's like, oh my god, I'm being stalked by the person who murdered my sister. And he's like, oh my god, I'll protect you, and also let's make horny art together. Like, it is so over the top, crazy, ridiculous. But it's just a fast, fun read, and I was so into it, okay? Let's be real. This was great. The other 4.5-star book that I read in August was The Hitchhikers by Chevy Stevens. This book comes out in October, and I'm so excited for you guys to read it. Pre-order it if you haven't yet, because this one is so good. It is a breakneck paced, heart-pumping thrill ride. This is not a murder mystery. This is a straight up thriller. Basically, there is a young couple in the 70s that are trying to reconnect and save their marriage after some miscarriages that they went through together. So they go on this RV vacation across Canada for the 1976 Olympics that are taking place there. Very early on in their idyllic road trip, though, they are picking up a couple of young hitchhikers to try to help them out. Like, they're very kind, giving people. So they're like, you know what, let's help out these kids, until these innocuous looking kids, runaways, start holding them hostage, and they are forced to do these evil children's bidding all across the great nation of Canada. And we, the reader, are just sat there watching the train wreck happen. I felt my heart lurch every time something bad happened, and I was just rooting for our main characters to please get away from these people. It's like every opportunity they have to escape just gets foiled, and it's heartbreaking, and it's so fast-paced. Oh my god, every chapter ends in this way that's like, I gotta flip to the next one. I just gotta flip to the next one. It was so readable. It was compulsively readable, I might say. The atmosphere was very fall. I think it's coming out at the perfect time. Just the like naturey kind of road trip feeling of it all. And the final act is absolutely batshit insane. I mean, it is dark. It goes off the rails. The only thing that helped me back from giving this a 5-star is I didn't feel as emotionally resonant with the actual plot and the story. I was rooting for our main characters and I was emotionally connected to them, but there was a little bit of meaning at the end that felt a little forced. It was like trying to put a bow and a nice moral thing on what essentially to me was just an amazing fast-paced thriller, and I think I could have done without it. So that didn't land perfectly for me, but overall I had an amazing reading experience with this book, and it really made me want to pick up every single Chevy Stevens book she's ever written. Like I said, watch that vlog if you want to see my full experience with this book, and stay tuned for more Chevy Stevens Rex because I'm obsessed. And finally, we will get into my 5-star reads for August, starting out with another book that I read when I was in Greece, The Fury by Alex Michaelides. This one was getting bad reviews when it first came out, and I just, for the life of me, cannot understand why. It was so much fun. I was obsessed with this book all the way through. It was so easy to read. The characters were funny and engaging, and it's at its heart a murder mystery that happens on a beautiful isolated island in Greece. And I read it in Greece, and it was just the perfect vibes. Basically, we have this beautiful, perfect movie star, and she invites all of her rich fancy friends to her private island in, how do you say it? Cyclades. Anyway, the little tiny islands in Greece. She invites all her fancy friends there, and she is swiftly murdered. So we have to figure out who of all of her closest people on this teeny tiny little isolated island could have possibly done it. The narrator of the book is like this weird guy. He's her like best friend, confidant type of person, but he kind of reads as like a weird delusional gay bestie. Like, he's somehow jealous of her and wants to be her, but also like says he's in love with her, but he just reads as like very gay. I'm gay and I hang out with gay people, so like he's just giving me that. But I was in love with him because he is a narrator and he breaks the fourth wall all the time, and I thought it was hilarious and a very clever choice to make a murder mystery just a little bit different and stand out. And the twist at the end of this book is crazy. It shocked me. I was literally reading this book in a restaurant and I slammed my book closed and I was just like, and the woman sitting across from me was like, good book, huh? And I'm like, yeah, no, that shit was crazy. So between the atmosphere, the unique characters, the comforting, cozy murder mystery setup, and the insane twist, like, I have no complaints. I think this book is incredible. Also, the cover is freaking beautiful. I'm just I'm just obsessed with this. I don't know why people hated it. Will somebody tell me why they hated this book? Because I love it. I don't understand the negative reviews. Another one of my favorites of this month was The Compound by Aisling Raleigh, or Aisling Raleigh. I was told that there might be an alternate pronunciation. So sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I am but a dumb American, and I believe this is like a name from across the pond. In The Compound, we are following a very similar setup to The Villa, but it goes in a wildly different direction. Same kind of idea, 10 men, 10 women, you have to couple up at the end of the night or you get kicked out of the compound. Very Love Island-esque. However, The Compound feels like dystopian Love Island. Like, they're not walking into this beautiful fully stocked villa, they're walking into an empty house, and they have to succeed at challenges in order to build up the villa or the compound and make it what it is. They're also being streamed and watched at all times, but we don't get any of the perspectives of the audience or the crew, so we are left to judge as the audience ourselves, which I thought was so effective. And yes, there's drama in this book, and yes, there's thrills in this book. It was actually much darker and more thrilling than I was expecting it to be. But what really got me about this book and clinched the 5-star for me was the biting social commentary. Like, it was pretty ruthless in its examination of consumerism and capitalism and social dynamics and how capitalism and consumerism affect the way that we show up in a group or to our community, to our fellow man, how it can even destroy our personal relationships. It was incredible. It was like doing exactly what I look for in a thriller, which is entertain me, be twisty and crazy, be scandalous and dark, and have something to say at the end of the day. Don't make it just all be for nothing. So this is like my perfect thriller, and if you're looking for some final bit of summer reading, this is the one. Go for it. It's so good. And now we're getting into my last 2 favorite books of the month. I'm really having trouble deciding which one I want to leave for last and like call my favorite book of the month, because honestly I love these both so much. Okay, and let me make a decision. So this is my second place. I still love it so much. This is one of my favorite books that I've read this year. That is The Wedding People by Alison Esbach. And we are talking about a girl in this book who is at the end of her rope. And I mean that very literally. She is about to end it all. She actually goes to a hotel with the intention of staying one night, checking in, completing suicide, and that's it. However, when she gets to the hotel, she realizes that there's a wedding at this hotel the entire week, and the bride is just vexed by this. She's like, there can't be a random woman staying at the hotel during my wedding week. I don't know her. She's a stranger. What are you doing? So the bride immediately confronts her and is like, listen, lady, you cannot ruin my wedding week. And she's like, it's fine. I'll be out of here soon. I'm killing myself. And she's like, okay, you definitely can't do that during my wedding week. And what unfolds is a very emotional, very genuine, very funny, dark, but real story about the relationship between these 2 women. And we just kind of see their arcs and their inner worlds unfolding and connecting and disconnecting and coming back together and moving apart, and we see their different journeys, and it spoke to me in a way that literary fiction rarely does. It was so engaging from start to finish. I cried multiple times reading this book. It's just so heartfelt, and me and my best friend both read it this month, and we were talking about it together, and we agree that Phoebe, the main character of this book, is just one of the most real characters we've ever read. Like, she is relatable in a way that we don't often talk about with each other, and seeing that represented in a book, I just felt so seen, and I feel like I got to see Phoebe and she was seeing me, and I know she's a fictional character, but this book is so meaningful. The setting is also idyllic and beautiful. It's described beautifully. Everything I've read from Alison Espach has impressed me so much. I just want to make it through her entire backlist so I can do a full rating and ranking video with all of her books because I'm so in love with them, and this is definitely my favorite lit fic of the year so far. But the book that takes the top spot for August for me is a thriller and is also by Chevy Stevens, and that is Those Girls. This book, it was almost nostalgic, okay? It had me feeling like I was back in the beginning of my channel, reading Karen Slaughter books, reading all of Jennifer Hillier's backlist, reading B.A. Paris, like reading those thrillers that got me back into reading, that just hook you from the beginning and do not let you down the entire time. This book is dark, okay? That's why it gets negative reviews. I had heard that it's got kind of like controversial reviews. I went and looked at them. All the negative reviews are people saying that this was too dark and disturbing for them. So if you don't like dark content, you shouldn't pick this up, and please check trigger warnings before you do. However, if you're looking for something a little bit darker, especially for spooky season, this thriller is incredible. It's about three sisters who basically get put through the fucking ringer of life, okay? Every horrible thing that could happen to somebody happens to these three. They're with an abusive father, they escape, they're on the road, something even worse happens to them than what was going on with their father. Then they escape that, then it's years later, then something again horrible, horrific, just mind-bendingly disgusting happens to them, and they have to find a way through, and their resilience jumps off the page. The sister relationships in this book are so heartfelt, so beautiful, even in the way that they will like bicker with each other. You can see all the roles that each girl like plays in the family system, and you feel each of their emotions in the different ways that they cope with the trauma that they go through. Beyond the characters, which I love so much, the setting is like dark and dusty and gross, and it's just that perfect thrilling atmosphere. The pacing is insane. It does not let up. It's just one event after the other, after the next twist and the next and the next and the next. It's twisty, it's dark, it does not let you go until the very end, and when it spits you out, you're just blubbering on the floor and you cannot believe what just happened. It is so good. It's 5 stars. It's my favorite book of August. I'm obsessed with it. So with that, those are all of the 15 books that I read this past month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end. If you're still here and you like this video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do wrap-ups like this at the end of every month, and if you're subscribed, you'll never miss one. And these videos are the best way to get every single review that I'm ever gonna give, because I talk about every single book that I read in my wrap-up videos. So if you want a full comprehensive view of all the books that I'm reading this year, you can watch all my wrap-ups and get every single review right to ya. Let me know down below what you guys read in August. What was your favorite book of the month? Have you read any of these? Did you enjoy any of these in August as well? Let me know. Also, don't forget to go down below and check out Book of the Month. You can get your first pick plus a free hat for only $5 with code JACKETS. And remember, play nice. One of my best books of the year is a book pick this month, so go and get it for the best price that you possibly can. Thanks again to Book of the Month for sponsoring. And again, thank you so much for spending the day hanging out with me, at least for a little bit. I can't wait to see ya in my next video. And until then, don't forget to read a book and go to therapy this week. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!